When almost nothing is under your control, and yet the outcome must be completely under control, on deadline, under budget, quality work, and yet you have no control of all the things that happen around you. That's the pressure. The work is the purpose. And man, we're going to talk about it next. Shaw Rader of Simonson Construction joins us next on Purpose Under Pressure. The heat is on. Let's get cooking. This is Purpose Under Pressure. It's a podcast about people and businesses who swing their feet out of bed every morning on purpose and what they do when those storms rise to knock them off of the path. Don't forget to like us or follow us or subscribe us or tell someone that this show is worth watching or listening to. It helps us to get the word out. It helps others to know that this show might be worth listening and maybe make a difference in their day and in their purpose as well. So we do appreciate the support. Purpose Under Pressure is brought to you by Sandler, by the Ruby Group, serving sales professionals nationwide from their Akron and Columbus, Ohio locations. They're also in Jacksonville, Florida, which is pretty cool. And I think it's probably very difficult to motivate salespeople in Florida. We've done an episode or two about that, and you can find that in the archives of Purpose Under Pressure. Sandler has an amazing sales training approach, I think, is the right way to look. It's not a tactic. It's a way of life when it comes to being a salesperson. It's how you do it right. It's how you do it ethically. And I'm really proud to say that the Ruby Group is a partner in this program. They are one of the finest and largest Sandler sales organizations in the country. So check them out. They're going to make a difference in your business. Even if you just call and never spend a dime with them, you'll appreciate the call and you'll appreciate the time, and it will make a difference. You can check them out online at therubygroups.sandler.com. I am excited to share with you the vice president and a shareholder of Simonson Construction. That's a business that I have known for a long time, at least of, and worked with and worked around and seen how they do business. And when you want to talk about being on purpose and you want to talk about being under pressure, this business, Simonson Construction, gets it done. Shaw Rader is the vice president of Simonson Construction, and he's our guest today. And we're going to talk about that on Purpose Under Pressure. Shaw, welcome to the show.
Hello, Brian. Excited to be here. Thanks for the invite.
As excited as you ever get. You don't get too flustered, do you? You stay pretty calm.
Well, I do, but I try to stay calm when people are looking.
Under pressure when people are looking, and people are looking now. Shaw, welcome to the show. I started by talking about Simonson, and I was on the school board for a little while in the city schools, and I've seen the way they conduct themselves and build businesses and help businesses and organizations by building buildings. And it's pretty awesome to see. It's not an easy job. But Simonson, holy cow, they do it right. And I was wondering if you could share a little bit to get started about the purpose and what drives Simonson. And then I think we're going to talk a little bit about what drives you as well. But talk about the company a little bit and brag some, because it's worth bragging.
Well, here at Simonson's, Bob Simonson, our founder, he started this business on some pretty solid foundation principles that we still follow today. And that is, trying to be the best contractor, trying to do the best job for our client, and being fair and honest, and always taking care of a problem if it arises with no questions, and making sure at the end of the day we have a happy customer that's gonna repeat with us or tell other people to use us.
And I want to push a little deeper into that, and maybe I'll find myself on the wrong side of the question, but I think every contractor out there might say the same thing, and every contract out there might believe the same thing. There's something different about the way you guys do it. When a deadline is coming, or the weather is on the other side of good, and things are knocking you guys off a little bit, you just don't let it go. And I've seen it, and I'm wondering what that is, what that difference is that really drives you guys. It's not just that you want to be the best. Something else is happening there.
Well, you're right. I think we hear it a lot when you're competing for a project. Other contractors, they'll say they can do things that we know aren't possible. And the one thing we're not going to do is sit here and tell you they are. We're not going to lie to you. We're not going to fib to you to get the job and then just not do it. If we tell you we're going to do something, we're going to do our best to get it done. And we're going to pull out all the resources, and we're going to make sure we meet your deadlines and in your realistic goals. in the project, and because we want a happy customer. We live in Ashland. We survive by the support of Ashland and the surrounding communities. And if we drop the ball or don't live up to our end of the bargain, that word spreads fast. A bad job, everyone talks about a bad job. Good jobs, not so much. But so we don't want that, and we want to make sure at the end of the day our client's happy. So yeah, every contractor does say that, but we feel we separate ourselves because we actually do that. We follow through with that, and we're not just saying words to get the job.
Yeah, and I think that's key, because when you talk about purpose under pressure, the purpose, and any business out there that's watching, you can learn from this, because we're all in it to make money. We're all in it to succeed. We're all in it to increase the top line and lower the bottom line and keep a sustainable business. It's not always easy when you're competing, and so I'll let you know how this works a little bit at Simonson. You guys go into a room with sealed bids with other contractors and try to earn the business almost blind. And you have to figure out a way to do the job right, but yet you have to lower your costs. You have to be competitive. You have to figure out a way. I'm interested in how much pressure is behind those quoting opportunities, big projects, big hospitals or school buildings, or $1 million projects. And you guys are just kind of putting in a bid and hoping. And I'm wondering how much pressure goes into that and what you have to do to make it happen.
It's a whole lot of pressure. I mean, we have people that can't make it. They come here, or in any construction industry, being an estimator, especially getting blueprints, meeting with owners, trying to figure out what the cost is, because you have to turn in a sealed bid to the owner, along on some jobs with 5 or 6 other contractors. And you don't know where they're at either. And you could be really low, really high, but we've been pretty successful. We've been around 50 years. So obviously we're turning in some pretty good competitive bids. We're not always the lowest or the cheapest. We want to try to be the best, competitive. And it is very stressful. And a lot of times you turn your bid in and you hope you're not too far off. And sometimes if you made a mistake, you might not find out till the job's halfway over. And at that point, it is what it is. And at the end of the day, if we made a mistake, it's our mistake, and we're still going to push through, and we're still going to provide a quality project to the owner like we promised.
I'm interested in what happens behind the scenes. Maybe you don't want to share this, but you put in a bid and it's the best bid you can do, and you've done the best you can. You're going to take it as it comes. But the other bid just wasn't quite up to snuff. You saw you saw it afterwards, the one they chose. Let's assume they didn't choose you. They chose the competition. And you see something in their bid. You're like, how did we lose that job? And you're like, oh, they didn't see that, or that was undercut or whatever, maybe not even on purpose, but they just didn't do the same way. And how does that, you're a man of principle, and Simonson's a man of ethics and principle. How does that make you feel, knowing that someone that you really want to help maybe made the bad choice and there's nothing you can do about it? Is that a fair question?
Yeah, that's a fair question. That happens. That happens sometimes. Yeah, you lose a job because you didn't cut a corner, or didn't maybe use the cheapest product, because it's not going to give the owner the quality that you felt in meeting with them that they wanted. And it is a struggle at times, and we lose jobs because of that. But we're not willing to provide an not inferior product, but maybe a lesser quality of a product that we know the owner is not going to be happy with. And at the end of the day, sometimes it's better to let it go than be married to something you're not happy with. And then you got an owner that's not happy with you. And we do get calls after the fact from owners going, oh man, you were right. I should have listened to you, but not that brings any, you still didn't get the job, but we do tell that we'll try to make the owner aware, hey, here's where we see the differences, just so you know. And if you don't want to use us because of that, that's your decision.
And some state projects, some big, huge projects are, I don't even remember what the word is for, but they have to go with the lowest bidder, the lowest qualified bidder. How does that change things? Because you're not going to cut corners. However, you've got to be low price when you're trying to earn some of these big, and some of these like local school projects and things. You want to help the community. You want to be a part of it. and yet you have to be the lowest bidder. The owner doesn't have a choice. How does that change the way you build the process?
Yeah, public bid jobs are a little different animal. You get a plan specs from the engineer of record. You have to put your bid together, then you have to show up at a certain day and exact time. If you're a second late, your bid gets thrown in the trash. So that gets stressful because you got a team we have our whole team in a conference room. We have someone sitting there on site, and we're calling numbers and we're getting things in, and it's a stressful situation that you have to try to stay calm so you can get the numbers done. And then again, we try to do the best we can and get the highest quality we can, but you have to still get the job. So we'll turn our number in and sit there and let them open the bids and see if we're low or not.
And I don't know how hard this is to answer, but how much work goes into a bid? And how much, that's all, you got a lot of work. You got to call in engineers and architects, and you got to do a lot of things to get the bid right. And you might not get the deal, and that's complete loss. So I'm thinking of business owners out there that are listening. You guys have put a lot into a project that you may never see one dime from.
It's a substantial investment to bid a project, public or private. So we do have to be a little selective in that. We don't want to spend 200 or 300 man hours bidding a job that we don't have a chance in getting. And sometimes we are used just as a price check or whatnot, but we like to think, that if someone's going to ask us to bid their job, that it's in good faith and they anticipate using us if we're the best bid that's turned in. Obviously public bids, it is what it is, but yeah, it's a substantial investment.
It's just the way it's done. I'm interested then, Shaw, as vice president and as a shareholder at Simonson, how does Shaw Rader affect Simonson? Do you guys all have the same principles and ethics? Are you all on the same page? How does one make the other better? What is your purpose, Shaw? And how does that go together and tie in with what Simonson's doing? Yeah,
I think we do. There's 4 shareholders here. Bob Simonson, the founder, and then Dan Moore and Dustin Beatty are the other ones. And we do all share the same principles and purposes, the company. And that's what makes us continuing to build and grow and have the success we're having. When someone calls with an issue, we drop what we're doing and we take care of it. Whether it costs us money, it is what it is. We promise something, we're going to take care of it. Even sometimes if it's not our issue, we know the owner needs it taken care of, and we take care of it because that's what we do.
That's what you do. And is it because it's Simonson or because it's you guys? And I'm kind of getting personal now, but what drives you most and what makes it difficult for you? This is purpose under pressure. You're on purpose to build a great company, to take care of people, to do the right things. But what comes up in Shaw Rader's life that knocks you off the path and then ultimately knocks Simonson down a little bit?
Well, I think when an owner calls with an issue or whatnot, you've made a relationship with them and you have a personal connection a lot of times, especially in Ashland, everyone knows everybody. So not only do you want to take care of it on a personal level, but on the company level as well. You don't want to fail them, and you don't want someone to feel like you lied to them or made a promise you couldn't follow through on. So in our mind, it needs taken care of. We promised you that it'd be taken care of, and it's going to be taken care of. And we're going to get it done.
So I'm interested how this works. So you're a local company with 4 shareholders, 3 very active, and Bob's doing his thing as well. And I know you guys over there. And did I say that right? The 3 of you are really active, and Bob, as a founder of the company, he's kind of overseeing. Is that accurate?
Yeah, Bob's the founder, and he's still active.
He is still okay
with the business. Yep.
So you're local, and you are firmly local. Like you want to do everything you can locally, and yet you're large. You're serving companies, their businesses and customers all over the state and doing different things in different ways. And this is Ashland, Ohio. Like you said, everybody knows everybody. This is tight knit. And it's not so much elsewhere. How do you run a large organization like that, serving big companies in Columbus and, big cities, and yet doing it in a way that serves your local hometown, which I know is very important to you?
It is very important. We just hit 100 employees this year, which is a huge milestone for us. We're in our 50th year of business.
Wow.
And a lot of that's been right here in the community. With the amount of employees we have, we are traveling, stretching our travel radius and project radius and size. We're doing much bigger projects. We've outgrown, some of the smaller residential type projects and focusing more on commercial. But still, when we drive through the city of Ashland or the county, we see a lot of projects we've built, helped design. And it makes us proud. It's nice to drive through and see the mark or impact this company has had on building Ashland in this area. It is part of our purpose to be able to see that and know that we help make a big difference in the community.
One of the biggest problems we have as managers and leaders is sometimes we're not focusing on leading and we end up doing it for our sales team. How do we coach our people to help them figure out what self-limiting belief that they have that's holding them back from achieving the levels of success that they know they're capable of? Help them flush out what we call their own head trash, that thing that's holding them back. So work with your team, lead by example, watch your team achieve greater levels of success, and watch your team grow, and more importantly, watch your company and your business grow.
But are you able to run a business that way, where you're really focused on serving local? Are you able to be local elsewhere? In Columbus or in, all the construction that's going on down there in the schools and different things, or up in Cleveland, they're not so concerned about local. It's a different way. Are you able to run the business in the same way and still make it work?
We are. The projects, the bigger projects out of town, we have, Worcester, Mansfield, those areas, we are considered local. We're members of the Chamber of Commerce there. We donate to local organizations and we go to their events. So we do try to maintain that level of business there and support. We are a huge supporter of local organizations.
You are.
We donate and sponsor over 100 different nonprofit organizations throughout our area of work, travel radius. So we find that very important.
And why is that? Not every company keeps their local roots that way. Why is it so important to you guys?
You're right. We do feel we could challenge a lot of companies to support the local nonprofits the way we do. Because without the local communities, we wouldn't survive. When we need all these areas, where we work. Because we can't go sell a product to a different state or overseas or do any of that. We have to work here, and we kind of say around here we're the only business that works ourselves out of a job. The day we get it, the day we start it, we're working. When it's done, we're out of a job. We don't have another contract to fulfill every year over year over year. So it's always on. We're always looking for that next project right here. So we support the people and organizations that support us.
I love that. And I want to tell a story. This was, I don't even know. I'm terrible with time. Something could be 15 years ago or it could be 15 seconds ago, and I can't tell the difference. But I was on the school board here in Ashland, and we were building the, what's it called? The rec center, the sports complex. Anyway, it was a big project. And it was a few years ago. How many years ago was that, Shaw? Maybe 5 or 6?
Yeah.
And it was a winter when the weather was about, I think it was like 20 below at night. I think it was one of those winters where every single night it got super, super cold, at least for a couple of weeks straight. And we had a deadline, and the schools had a deadline, and we had reasons that things had to be built on time. We were moving things in and all these things, and we were counting on you guys to get it done. And I remember driving by one morning on my way to somewhere, and it was before the sun came up. And there were people, your people, out there with their hands in front of the fire, and the other ones, the trying to keep warm. The other ones twisting wrenches and turn it, building this thing in negative 15 or 20 degree temperatures. That to me is purpose under pressure. You guys weren't going to miss that deadline. Do you remember that? And was it as big a deal as I thought it was, or was it just doing business as normal? Because it seemed like superhuman to me.
we take great pride in our employees. They're our biggest asset. Without them, we're not going to build anything. So we are selective in who we hire. We go through a lot of resumes and applications to hire the best that we can possibly hire, the most motivated. Our average employee's been here over 10 years, which I think says a whole lot about us and how we treat our employees. And they're go-getters, and they're willing to do what it takes. They're on board with our mission, to be the best, to get done, to make it happen, and to have a happy owner. So yeah, if they need to go out there and do that, they're gonna get it done, and we don't have to beg them to do it. They're on board with it. They're great people, and we'll continue to put them up against anybody. We would challenge anyone to have a better set of guys than we have.
It's really amazing, because if I'd have gotten the call that morning that said, hey, we just can't be out there today, it's not safe, or our guys just can't go, or it's whatever it might be, I'd have said, yeah, I get it. I understand. I'm sad, but I get it. And yet you guys, there was no call, there was nothing. You guys just showed up and got it done. And I just think that's pretty cool. And I imagine it happens quite often. So let's talk a little bit about the next side of purpose and pressure, and that's what's coming on the horizon. And we can talk about the economy, or we might talk about employees, or whatever it might be, but kind of what do you see as vice president and shareholder of Simonson Construction that's coming next? That pressure, that wave that's coming to try to knock you off, that's going to be tough to overcome as you continue to try to build a great business. What's going to try to be kind of in your way moving forward?
That's a good question. The economy is such a factor in our business. Everyone continues to say it's going to be a downturn here, but we've not seen it yet in our industry.
Good.
So what happens with our next administration? The public projects are on the rise right now. They're putting a lot of money in infrastructure because it is failing around the area: water, sewer, storm, wastewater, and bridges. Buildings, all public entities, and then all the businesses seem to be having such success right now. So they're doing expansions and additions. And so right now, I guess the biggest hurdle would be hoping that continues, because we've built ourselves to need that support of the things continuing how they are. And if they don't, we'll probably have to expand our range of where we go to get work. And competition. Competition is always an issue. Someone's always coming in to try to knock you down and take your work. So we strive to always stay on the cutting edge. We strive to have the best technology, the latest technology, to make sure we offer the best tools to our employees to do the job the best they can. So we don't want someone coming to try to take a job from us to say they have something better than we do. We want to keep that edge and advantage all the time.
I also know that you need to keep an advantage as far as pricing. And this is just a personal question. I'm interested in this. I'm not sure if the audience will be or not, but I'm interested in how you make a bid in this economy where the stock market's up and price of wood is up and down and price of everything is all over the place. And you're building things that are 3 months out, 6 months out, quoting things like that. I'm just interested. How do you make sure you have enough wiggle room in the pricing to make an accurate bid and not get caught with your pants down when it finally comes time to put that building up, if prices went through the roof or whatever it might be?
Well, sometimes you can't. You just have to make an educated guess with what's at the time and make your bid. Well, what you want to do is, as soon as you find out you officially have a job and get a contract, you immediately order all your materials,
lock
for
it
the
down.
job.
Okay.
To try and lock those prices in. Some places,
so that helps.
Some vendors won't hold their prices, so you just cross your fingers and hope it doesn't go up, because you can't go back and charge more. So
no.
But you can't put too much in your bid, or then you don't get the job. So you're playing a little bit of Russian roulette there and hoping everything works out. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. But lead times, we got lead times over a year out on certain items right now, and it's a struggle. Yeah.
It seems stressful. Do you, the final question here, I'm just interested, if you don't mind asking, do you take that home with you? That seems like a lot of stress that you have no control over. And that to me it keeps me up at night. Do you take this kind of stuff home, and does it keep you up at night as well?
Yeah. I mean, you take it home 24/7. Because if it goes bad, it could be pretty detrimental to the job and affect everybody in the company. What it affects is your bottom line, bonuses, raises. I mean, there's a lot to take into account when you make those decisions.
And yet there's nothing you can do about it other than try to do the best you can in the moment.
Yeah.
Which maybe is similar to any other business out there, I suppose.
I would assume. Yeah.
If there's some businesses that want to reach out to you and talk about construction or the ways you do things, and they wanted to talk to Simonson, how would they reach out to you and find you?
They can get on our website, simonsonconstruction.com. You can submit something on there. Call our phone number, 419-281-8299. I guess those would be the two best ways.
Best ways to reach in. I hope people will. I think, like I say, I'm speaking from, it sounds like a commercial for me, but I'm just really impressed by the way you guys do work. And I've seen it. And I've seen the buildings that you built when I was on the school board that are still standing tall and straight and serving the community well. And I drive up and down the roads in and around town and see the things that you've done. And you've changed things around here. And I really appreciate it. And if folks, if you're watching this show, you can see that Shaw is pretty calm. And I think that's another stalwart of Simonson. I don't think they get their edges rattled too often, and they end up landing on their feet far more often than not. And I think that's a really important thing. And so thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, thank you. I hope our success, past success, continues into the future for many, many more years. And we're going to do the best we can to make that happen.
I think it will. You're the kind of guy to drive it. And I know the other guys that are there, and I know the kind of company you are. And it is based on purpose, no matter how much pressure is out there. And I do appreciate everything you do for our community. And I appreciate your being a guest on Purpose Under Pressure. That is Shaw Rader. He's the vice president and a shareholder of Simonson Construction, a commercial construction company located again right here in my hometown of Ashland, Ohio. Folks, I really, he's not paying me to say these great things. That is an amazing company. I've always wanted to have them on this show to kind of share that with you, and I hope that you enjoyed it. So thank you very much, Shaw, and thank you to Sandler by the Ruby Group, who bring this show to you or are in partnership with me to make that happen. Sellers are under pressure to perform, just like we just talked about with the pressure that Shaw's under. That pressure to get the deal done the right way is not easy to accomplish. And so sometimes you need help. That is Sandler. They help you succeed on purpose with the Ruby Group. You're going to find all past episodes of Purpose Under Pressure at brianmediastrategies.com/podcast and wherever you stream your shows. We do this every week, and we will see you next time on Purpose.